As a kid, I always really struggled to make friends. Um, Obviously, subsequently, I've been diagnosed as neurodiverse, so obviously that played a part, but um, I always struggled with talking to other people my age. I always felt like we didn't have anything in common. Um, I would get bullied because I was one of the few kids in my class to wear glasses at the time. It's obviously more common now, but back when I was a kid and being in a small school, not many kids wore glasses. So, of course, I was a target for that. And also just a target for being quite weird in general. um, and obviously, as a kid, we feel that having a lot of friends is a good thing. You know, the popular kids, they're always, you know, the ideal rather than being the quiet, lonely nerd. And as I've gotten older, I obviously realised that having fewer friends, especially for an introvert like myself, is actually far better than having, a large social group. I have found myself being in situations where I've had multiple friends who, I could hang out with. I used to work with kind of music promotion with local bands and things, and so be at a lot of music gigs and things like that. And there was always somebody there who would, sit down and have a drink, or you'd always find somebody. But the thing that I found is that ultimately that was exhausting. I'd find myself ignoring people's messages just because I was like, I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to deal with you. And so eventually, I kind of decided that I would kind of have a cull, and I did stop doing the music stuff as well, which kind of calmed down my social life, which ultimately I felt good about because it was tiring to have to keep up with so many people. So I now, the music thing was, like 9 years ago now, nearly. And I basically deleted everybody who I'd met through that kind of scene off of my Facebook. I'm like, I just don't. That was when I was using Facebook. I'm not using it anymore. It was exhausting. I'm obviously an introvert. I'm neurodiverse, and people are difficult. But that is not to say that having friends isn't important for an introvert like myself. Having somebody who you can talk to, having somebody who understands you, who you can talk about your weird shit with. Do you know what I mean? You can't do that with everybody. You have to guard yourself around a lot of people. And if you find yourself guarding yourself, I know English. If you find yourself being guarded, then are you actually a friend? Because you should be able to be yourself around people at the end of the day. And if you can't, then you will make yourself tired. And you shouldn't come home from a social interaction feeling drained. I think a good friend actually leaves you feeling energized and, feeling good. I've had friends more recently who feel kind of like emotional vampires. Like, they'll get together with you and then they'll just spend their entire time moaning. And I'm like, I come away and I'm like, why have I just let you do that to me for 2 hours? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've just sat here listening to you complain about the same things that you always complain about, and I feel absolutely drained. And I decided to cut that out too. So now, other than my spouse, I have one good friend, and she is somebody I've known for quite a long time. We met probably about 15 years ago and fell out of contact for a while, and then she moved closer to me a few years ago, about 9-10 years ago, and we got back in touch. And over the years, we've become firm friends, but it's taken years. I think introverted people do take a long time to make friends, but when they do, it becomes solid. I can't see me ever not being her friend. I can't ever see me making another friend on the same level as her. Which to some people might sound sad, but that's actually, I'm really pleased with that. We see each other once every 1 or 2 weeks. We message each other quite a lot. And whenever we've got anything on our chest, we can vent to each other, but not in a draining kind of way, in a kind of cathartic way. You know, I like being able to comfort her and to be there for her, and she does the same thing for me. And I think, you know, that is the marker of an absolute true friendship. And I'm perfectly happy if I never make another friend like that again. You know, some people would see that as a bit miserable and a bit lonely, but I'm not a person who has a very big social battery. So it's like the video games, The Sims, you know, where they've got the little green bars. My social bar gets filled very quickly, and it stays topped up for quite a while before it drains, and I need to, you know, restock it. So I'm perfectly fine with not seeking more friendships. That being said, I'm talking about real life friends there. I do believe, you know, that online friendship is almost as valuable as having real life friends. I've made quite a lot of friends online, a lot of them through gaming, because I did used to stream on Twitch for a little bit, just for fun, not for anything more. And I did used to be part of quite a lot of geek groups on Facebook, back when Facebook was actually used for more friendship stuff and not trolling and being angry, which is all people seem to do on Facebook nowadays. But yeah, I made some gaming friends who have turned out to just be really good overall friends. But they're dotted about all over the place. There's only a few of them. I'm not saying that I have a large collection of online friends. I have some that I can go for months without talking to, and then we message each other and it's like we never had a break. So I think online friendships do help to top up your social battery as well. So if you struggle with friends in real life, then I do advocate looking for online friends, and it isn't too difficult to do these days with I wouldn't recommend, you know, typical social medias, but I know there are groups on Reddit and that kind of thing for making friends. I actually found Twitter quite good for that. I don't use Twitter anymore, but there are a lot of nice people on there. I don't keep in touch with them anymore off of Twitter, but you know, there are places where you can go to make friends. And hopefully, you know, if I keep making these silly videos, then a community can be found through these as well, because I would welcome, you know, making friends with anybody who sees these videos and is of a like mind. That is to say, rather weird, introverted, doesn't mind having a topic about philosophy 1 minute and then changing to talking about poop the next minute, because that's where my brain goes. And also, you know, my conversations can be very all over the place because ADHD. But it's not to say that all my friends need to be neurodivergent, because they absolutely don't. My best friend is not, but she gets me for being that way, and I think she finds me amusing for it. So it would be nice to find like-minded people via doing these videos. So I'm not expecting people to see these videos for now, because obviously I'm putting them on a dormant channel that I've not used in quite some time, and the people that were following me from there will probably be wondering what the fuck I'm doing, because I used to post gaming stuff on it. But there you go. Hopefully over time YouTube will put my weird face in front of people, and you know, we can find a community of like-minded folks. So don't give up if you don't have anybody who you consider a good friend, because you can find it. It is hard, especially in today's day and age where everyone is on their phones. You know, we've never been more disconnected in a world that is supposedly full of connection via social media. I think it's had the opposite effect, and it's isolated people, which is sad. But I do think the internet could be used in a positive way to find other people out there. They can be our friends. You just have to do some digging, unfortunately, and it does take some time. I do think YouTube is a good place for it as well. Actually, finding other like-minded people on here is, you know, it's becoming more frequent. Actually, I found a lot of people doing these kind of videos where they're just talking to a camera and being their genuine selves, no script, as you can tell. So yeah, I just wanted to say don't give up, and if you've stayed until the end, you know, please say hello, and feel free to keep in touch. I wish you a good rest of your day. I wish you a good weekend, because it's Friday, at least it is right now, and I'll see you soon.